Diamond Heights is located in District 4 of San Francisco and considered by some the center of San Francisco. Twin Peaks is to the north of us, Noe Valley to the east, south is Glen Park, and Miraloma Park is to the west. You definitely do not feel like you're in San Francisco when you're up here in Diamond Heights. It feels like you're out in the suburb and out in the Oakland Hills or Marin. The only difference is you're about 5 or 10 minutes away from everything the city has to offer. It's almost all single family homes and condos up here, and virtually all of them have amazing views. 3-bedroom single family homes are selling for about $2 to $2.5 million, 1,300 a square foot, and the highest recent sale was $6 million. It takes a single family home about 14 days to sell on market, and they're going for about 20% over list. 2-bedroom condos are selling for about $1 to $1.2 million. That's about 600 to 700 a square foot, and the highest recent sale was $1.7 million. Condos are selling for right about list, and they're taking about 3 weeks to sell. Diamond Heights was developed on 3 hills: Red Rock Heights to the northwest, Gold Mine Hill in the center, and Fairmont Heights to the southeast. San Francisco's population started to boom in the late 1800s, and residents were looking for a place to get away from all the overcrowding. However, sales for lots up here in Diamond Heights were going very slow due to the deep grades. Any attempt at a traditional development up here were never realized due to all the extreme hills. The grid-style development plan never did see success like it did in other parts of San Francisco. It just was not economically feasible, because this would have ended up being the steepest streets in San Francisco, up to 35% grades. Cars and horse-drawn carriages would just not be able to get up here. But this is the neighborhood where the hills defeated the grid. The grid layout was finally defeated by a plan with curving streets hugging the natural topography and providing some of the best views in San Francisco. Taller condos at the top and single-family homes as you meander down the hill, so everybody has a great view. Horseback riding was a popular activity for residents here in the 1800s. You would also see grazing cows and goats all roaming throughout here. The Good Brothers Dairy was actually located right here in the 1930s until it burned down. 2 million cubic yards of earth were removed from the top of these hills and regraded to flatten the saddle in between the hills. The goal was to build 3,000 homes, all with spectacular views, while maintaining that natural, rugged feel and still getting plenty of sun and minimizing the amount of wind. What the developers wanted to do in Diamond Heights was they didn't want a cutoff from 2 different styles of neighborhoods, meaning like a more urban, typical city-style neighborhood here, and then just automatically turn into like more of a rural setting. So they wanted to kind of slowly integrate that, so as we drive up the hill into the heart of Diamond Heights, you'll see that there is a natural slow progression. The working class was slowly moving out of San Francisco because they were too crammed, but they did not like the long commute back into the city either. So architects and developers scrambled to deliver a spacious urban environment within the city limits. Enter Joseph Eichler. Over the past few decades, Eichler has gained a cult following here in San Francisco. If you talk to any homeowner here about architecture, they'll likely mention Eichler's. Contrary to popular belief, Eichler was not an architect, he was a developer. Some party trivia for you if you ever hear anybody talking about Eichler and you want to be the cool guy at a party.
Who here likes a good story about a bridge?
The homes Joseph Eichler developed and inspired still hold their own in a city dominated by the best architecture in the country. But Eichler did not start out with such a great reputation. In a city full of architecture designed to showcase the homeowner's wealth, these affordable homeowners for the working class did not really have a place in upper class social circles that lived in your Victorians and Edwardians, Queen Anne's, Craftsmans, and the like.
And of course I'll have the weekend.
What is a weekend?
Here is a good example of how they took advantage of the views for the different sides of the streets. So behind me are the higher rise homes, which can look over into the canyon behind me. And then I'll show you the smaller homes here that I'm facing right now that are a lot more low profile roofs, so they're not interfering with the view for the homes behind me. Eichler designs typically have a subtle, clean atrium or outdoor space as you enter the home. And then as you enter, there's an open floor plan, plenty of natural light that can travel through the entire home. They are smaller homes with not a lot of storage. It was all about maximizing the square footage in the home for living space. The way he was able to keep these homes affordable was using an off-site assembly line process, synonymous with tract homes, but wanted to spice it up a little bit with more thoughtful architecture and higher quality materials. This is the last Victorian in Diamond Heights. It was built in 1895. It's a 4-bed, 4-bath, and it sold last year for $3.2 million. Of Eichler's 11,000 homes in Northern California, there's about 100 of them here in Diamond Heights. They were all built between 1962 and 1964, and we're selling for about $35,000 to $45,000 a piece. We are at the top of Diamond Street, and this is where the neighborhood got its name. Diamond Heights is one of the main roads that feeds up to the top of the neighborhood, and a lot of other new streets that were developed during the redevelopment are also named after precious stones.
I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
But half a century later, demand for these rare urban Eichlers began to gain momentum to the point where even half-destroyed spec houses were selling for full price, and inventory levels were very low since homeowners were not interested in selling, a trend that you still see today. I'm down in Noe Valley. Just above us is Diamond Heights, and I wanted to show you these power lines, which is pretty common to see in San Francisco. All the power and utility lines are all above ground. While the Diamond Heights redevelopment, they had all the power lines and all the utility lines are all buried underground. Diamond Heights does get fog, but it's probably the sunniest neighborhood this far west. Everything and the farther up you go in elevation, it gets foggier. And as you start to go down the hill and start heading east, it starts to get a lot sunnier. It's also very quiet up here. It really does not get any quieter anywhere else in the city. Even after the redevelopment, Diamond Heights is still one of the steepest and hilliest neighborhoods in San Francisco. Whoa, I need to lose some weight or get younger. Transportation scores are not great up here, but that's kind of what the attraction is. You're 5-10 minute drive from everything, but you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere. Walk score is 76, transit score is 67, and the bike score is 59. And the closest BART station is the Glen Park BART, 0.9 miles away. Let's check out the parks in Diamond Heights. You won't find many restaurants, bars, or gyms within walking distance. There is a Safeway up here, and the closest Whole Foods is 2.7 miles away. Trader Joe's, 3.7 miles away. There are 10 schools within a 1-mile radius of Diamond Heights. If you want any more information about Diamond Heights or any other neighborhood in San Francisco, call, text, email me. I'd love to hear from you. I love making videos about San Francisco, but one thing I love even more is helping home buyers and home sellers. So if you've been thinking about buying or selling, let's connect. I look forward to hearing from you.